Alright, so I just went over this map, but it was all jank. The mini-map was fucked up because the zoom-in thing you have to change every time. I'm only on a single monitor, so it's kind of really annoying to fix it. But now I have it in 1080. It should be in 1080 now. I hate that OBS doesn't have different settings for recording and streaming. But here we are. I'll go back over it. It's pretty straightforward, though. Hasi can kind of go either way. Top, if you have... Like, if you're in ranked play, you don't have a lot of coordination, filling through top open off rip is probably better. If you do have a team and you can play coordinated with nades and you know how to, like, you have breakoff strats and such, playing through close is a little bit better. So BZ kind of fucking nades his teammate. He's laughing. He didn't want to hit Simp directly with the nade, and he ends up missing the crack in the door. Not going to make this offensive push. Draza's going to get caught well. The important thing is not letting somebody OE well. That's why Draza's watching his own side of well here. Because when somebody OEs well, a lot of times you'll see teams will just fucking straight up like jump out top secret hall here, or they'll go out of you and they'll just chase the guy. They'll put their back to everything. Avoiding the spawn kills and the spawn manipulation is very important because there's just too much to worry about. A lot of weird P2 spawns as well, especially after B caps. So now Optic have full control of top. They have a good collapse coming on secret. They know 3 are off respawn. Going to be very annoying. There's a lot of corners, a lot of things that you have to hard check. You see that Shotzi's going to spot both, get both weak. He's going to slip through. Now right here, you see this Celium spawn right in front of his face. This is completely normal. Controls the dog shit mode. Hacienda isn't a great map either. But you also have on the same side, Abizi has slipped through, and he needs to make a play. So the one player also that's going to be Simp manages to fill into well. That's going to give number 5, that's going to be Draza, the ability to turn around and just play for this this guy kind of that can peek out of his secret. That gives Celium peace of mind that nobody's going to be to his left. All he has to worry about is his front. If anybody's going to be P2, they're going to be pre-aiming from P2. As long as he doesn't expose himself to P2, then the player has to be in front of him. Has to be in this main door. Basically, has to be where Shotzi is. So he peeks up. He sees nobody's looking at him through P2. He knows nobody's going to be pushing up through P2. So he therefore knows that Shotzi's got to be like somewhere either in a corner or... close, and he's going to end up catching Shotzi. So because he catches Shotzi there, he now knows, or he can give info to his teammate that Shotzi was chasing well. They know that you guys are going B. So now immediately everyone on Faze are going to kind of turn here. All of Optic have forward position. Abizi's kind of worried about his front here. He doesn't have to be. Now Abizi's going to be the one to push up front. Dashy's going to end up catching that, watching over his teammate. That's going to be Shotzi jumping into time. That is great team play. And now Optic just going to bang through front, and you have a clean dead. Cell is kind of trying to give his team any semblance of map control. Faze are going to spawn P2. When you don't have any strong map control, basically, if you don't have anyone push past the 50-yard line, the game seems to like to spawn the other team P2, especially after when all your teammates are kind of on below the... Basically, if your team is in the low left quadrant of the map. So now that Shotzi's pushed up, Faze should know he's pushed up. Abizi has a slip again. That is him, right? Yeah. And then Cell's kind of backbeat. He's going to be able to stop clock. So Huke not aware of the slip. Merc is chasing the slip. Yeah. So Merc's going to slip in. He's actually going to lose a rough one to Abizi. There's not a lot of people that are going to ever gun you in that situation, but Abizi did. Now Dashy's just holding off the reinforcements. It's going to be Draws sliding in. Draws, I mean, it's a hard gunfight to win, unless you basically pre-fire it. Now Simp's going to get the trade. Now, if Draza would have waited a second and allowed Simp to get that kill, that would be much better, because now you'd have an extra guy on point, obviously. Abizi's in a great spot, pushed up in this position. He's going to be spawning the players, the Optic players, like a little bit further out in the top corner, should be. And also, he's going to have anybody jumping off of time or trying to chow off time. Nobody really expects this corner. Number one's trying to maintain that map control. He's actually going to end up letting Draza slip. But it's going to get caught by Shotzi. Number one, Huke's immediately going to turn around realizing what happened. Now that FaZe have capped this point, Huke's job is, I think, to block this P2 spawn, to give his team some presence in this top half of the map, and especially in this forward quadrant here, to just make sure they don't spawn.
Maybe they do stop it, but you have the minute, you're down 8 lives though. And they're just going to leave up easy. The rest of Optic are going to push on.
And FaZe spawn kind of far back. Now Huke's going to refill through front. He's going to get in here so that he doesn't have to worry about the spawn at all. He's going to catch one on cross. Now 5. This is a huge gunfight. Draza is going to get that trade, but you still have Merc in this position. So this is going to be Shotzi getting caught old. Abizi's kind of stuck here.
Going to get taken down, and we know it is only a 1 moment in control where the attacking team get 3-4 on the point in the round can end.
Now you have these high spawns for Optic. They're doing a very good job of preventing these P2 spawns. FaZe are trying to overextend through B here. They're looking for spawners. He's going to end up catching Cell. Actually, Cell turns on Mercury somewhat. He doesn't really turn on him, but he gets a camera there and wins that with an AR. This map is very sub-heavy, 4 subs. Very good heads-up play by Huke there, banking the stun off the rock because he was stunned. He couldn't turn back around, knowing that there's going to be a guy jumping up there because he's been touching point. Didn't work out for him, but a very heads-up play. Very good. Now, Optic have kind of lost their map control, and I was going to say, I would not be surprised if they spawn P2 now. So it's just about that forward presence on the map and having a guy in this top right quadrant spawns the FaZe players out.
Ticket again, 30 to go. Oh, well, a little more ammo there would have been nice. Yeah, he probably gets that.
Ooh, so Shotzi's now finessing on point. He ends up getting draws for free. Cell gets him weak. Cell's not going to end up getting the trade either, so Shotzi's going to get a big 2. That's huge for pace. Now Abizi's kind of just fucked. Abizi's going to try and get some top hall control. Draws going for some wall bangs. There's 2 front on him, though. Yep, there's all 4. Now... Number 1 should be preventing this close spawn. So if you look here, number 1 is not quite in this top right quadrant or in the forward part of the map here. You have number 3 already in the forward part of the map. He just not quite there. And number 6 kind of gets that close P2 spawn. But once he kind of gets out rock here, now you can officially say he's in this top right quadrant. You should see a spawn out up here. Yep. There you go. That's all it is. It's just quadrants of the map in this situation. And Optic playing the P2 spawns better than FaZe did.
Just going to hold the line, not give up any more kills. So, great defense there from Optic. Nearly down. It was not that break. Are they strike now?
It's fucking so cold in my room, by the way. I need to turn COD on my PC so it warms my room up. So, off the break off here, another situation where you fill through kind of closed hall here. You actually only have 1 player go secret, and then you have Merc top for help. Merc getting info, kind of. He's immediately going to turn around and watch his fast open hit because they don't have enough info. Huke hasn't spotted anything. He's playing passive. Cell's actually going to catch Merc because Merc is playing his angle incorrectly. So Cellium barely sees Merc's gun sticking out, probably shoots his hands, because he's watching this open hall a little bit too exposed to that other window. So that's a pretty rookie mistake. But not a big deal. Shotzi gets a 4 headshots with the absolute laser beam. Once again, I don't know if pros have GA'd the muzzle yet. I'm pretty sure in challengers the muzzle is GA'd on the AR, like, for obvious reasons. It's just too fucking easy. Like, there's no recoil on that thing.
Let's see if he can turn this into a tick. He's going to get some help. Bobby Mercules with the sub in hand.
See, the air in this game has less recoil than the Krig did in fucking Cold War, and that's saying something.
Yeah, well, the big thing was that Simp was just kind of roaming bottom secret and top hall.
Kind of like an ICR for the first, like, 10 shots, and then it kind of goes up to the left a little. Or up to the right. So, good fight for office control here. We're going to be able to maintain that office control. Cellium's going to barely end up getting this timing, dropping office. Or, open, getting that kill. Ashy catches that. He's going to get traded out, though. Just because Cell died for free there, he almost won the second. That's how it should go.
I mean, you're close on the lives at least.
And now Faze are spawning close, but this is looking very bad for them because Faze need forward pressure. If you don't have forward pressure, let's see if they actually did get the secret spawns. Yeah, they did. If you're not paying attention. So you see Faze are kind of pushed up here. They're doubling back to their side. Now, you have Draza up here, but you've kind of lost your forward presence on the map. Draws fills through open. Draws goes down. And now any Optic player that goes down, let's see if we see it here. So you have kind of some forward presence here, and Optic player goes down. You're going to double back. 8's going to fill, so no, we're not going to see it here.
Put another player on that B point. Force Faze to have to rotate all the way through.
Shotzi in the key position now. Top office. He can decide.
Yeah, and your office control is huge on this map. For P3 Hill, in Hardpoint, and for just the entirety of your control rounds. Merc gonna win a big one on time. Optic are gonna get that tempo C. They're gonna get those close P2 spawns because no Faze player blocking that quadrant. Faze are gonna spawn high here as well. Cell should end up getting a timing here. He's gonna spot him and he's gonna chase. And he's going to at least be able to open up the map. And now, once Cell gets that kill, he's not going to fight for his office control. The tick is gone. He's going to try and create an opening for his team to fill through rock while he races to block this close P2 spawn. His other teammate has pushed up their secret as well. So they're going to spawn in the back. A dog sneeze. So Abizi's just going to quickly get in this corner. Cell's going to get a second one on Shotzi. And now their office control is theirs. Abizi's going to spot one crossing the well. Going to get an awkward timing. Optic's going to collapse on Abizi and spawn. They're not going to throw a life there, which is major. But yeah, now Huke on the chase ends up throwing his life. Number 3, I think, is bottom mid here. He's going to try and climb the ladder. Yeah, that's going to be Merc here. Optic once again have taken office control. Draza's going to sniff it out and catch it. Now, Faze have, in the midst of turning around, kind of, giving up their forward pressure, they've allowed the close P2 spawns again.
Got a couple dead, though, so Mercury's just going to kind of tuck away in the corner here, wait in a pocket, and see if he can pounce. Gets stunned, so he's gonna try. Yeah,
so Merc's going to jump back over, and he's going to end up going down, trying to chase Abizi, I think.
Angle, but there always seems to be one more to help.
And now, once again, Faze have this forward pressure, so Optic should spawn in the back.
For Faze in some of these top hall fights, but they're still down a couple of lives.
Cell's even going to hard play rock here for a second, and then he's going to push through. Once again, you just stay this top quadrant.
Who is on the closed part of the map. Who's just trying to get to the trade, but a nice little finesse there from Draws. But you did the help.
Draws bought time at least, but not really major. Once again, you've kind of maintained it. You might even see a close Optic spawn here because Simp is on the wrong side of this rock. Maybe not. Nah, it wasn't quite in time. Okay. But you see these. Did he just spawn close secret? He spawns close secret because Faze have absolutely no pressure like forward other than on the top lane. I think you need to have someone overextended on this quadrant. Cell just barely wasn't quite there.
Only going to favor Optic to go up 2-0.
Trades only do you so much though. There's only 35 seconds to go. You're probably going to have to get this done around the objective.
So yeah, now you see this close P2 spawn because nobody on Faze is pushed up on the other side of this rock. That's how precise it is. Now number 6 is pushed up here. And number 8's here. You should have your standard spawns in the back. Maybe directly behind. Now 1's going to catch it. Faze have lost all their forward presence, and now you should see number 3 spawn close P2. No, number 3 spawns on number 4, so maybe not quite in time. Normally it's pretty reactive though. Okay, and Optic are going to hold here.
This one as well, not for a couple of moments.
Once again, Draws' job here is to try and deny anyone to overextend through well early on and try to help his
First
teammates
sweep
with Nate's
starts
haul.
now. They'll get the opening kill.
Simp does this little play where he peeks out the top and is invisible, and then he kind of reaches the late hit. Very good play. Going to end up getting info on Dashy. Dashy's a little weak. Actually spots Dashy and Merc at the same time. You know, their last two players are Office. And you see how they're so focused on holding their Office here. Merc actually slips out instead of helping his team hold Office control. Could have been pretty bad for them if Abizi won that gunfight. Still, you have Cell putting pressure on. Should be getting that trade, and he does. But Merc is going to slip, yeah. But he's immediately going to turn back around knowing that Celium filled his haul and knowing no Faze players are going to be behind him. He just has to look for him.
Cell trying to up the aggression. He pulls out a sub. But Mercules will match that. He's got both guns in hand, taking gunfights at will.
Faze are now kind of trying to defend against their plat. It just becomes very hard. And now they're going to get mopped up. Optic are going to be able to take map control. Celium's going to win a huge forward gunfight, denying Optic the ability to push up quickly. Faze getting that close P2 spawn because Optic had to wrap back. You see that far spawn here.
Trying to push up through his number 8 and Cell. He's not going to find anything. Mercules reads that and deals with it.
And you have Hook through, so he's going to have a free flank. Well, he's going to be able to take down Sim. So yeah, a lot of these scenarios where normally
top here. So now you see here how even though Mercules is right here on this rock,
well, he's going to be able to take down Sim. So yeah, a lot of these scenarios where normally
he still spawns close P2. He's just not forward enough.
Faze are so good around the
now he's forward enough, maybe, probably.
They're just not winning anything. And well, you're in a tough spot now. 45 seconds. You have no map control.
He's going to maintain presence on this top right quadrant. You have number 4 Dashy cutting. And yeah, Optic just did a better job controlling the spawns in this game, in my opinion. And they calculated their collapses, but they knew. Like earlier, when they collapsed on B here, they immediately turn, looking upwards. They spawn close B. They trade out. They try and get their open control here. They get it. They have one guy overextend. They're very focused on this open overextension and push through. Merc's going to catch that.
And you have Hook through, so he's going to have a free flank. Well,
and then so even after the collapse, they still end up getting their top hall control. They catch the player trying to make a sneaky play, which is going to be Cell. Merc catches that. Off respawn it on top of it. So yeah, Jaws is still going to maintain your secret control, but the Optic are going to mop up Rock, deny at least one player these close B2 spawns. He's going to get spotted. He's going to try an OE for this, and actually Merc gets it because Simp filled through secret.
Now 45 seconds. You have no map control.
None whatsoever. Optic control looking spicy.
Going to maintain this player on Rock.
Dashy winning fights. Everyone winning fights.
Merc's actually going to hit through and chow through top here.
Finally roaring here in this one. It's 5 straight for Mercules. He is
just taking space on the map. Even though you have a sub, you're just going to take that gunfight. Oh, that's not right. That was Shotzi. Now, Faze actually have an opportunity here to just wrecking ball their way to B. Optic are so they have one dead, they have one off respawn, and you know that Merc is doubling back from P2. I think Faze made a mistake here. They're very focused on making sure nobody's chasing and filling through middle. I guess the timings are close, and Optic would have beat you to the time barely, and you would have had to deal with front pressure. You wouldn't have been able to do anything but go outer fence, but you would have to worry about your top closed and your plat, so that's kind of not even an option. Your only play is to get Draza here close on time, and that's what Draws does, looking at top secret, but this is an isolated gunfight. There's nothing you can do about it. So Faze kind of know that this was their only play. I still think if you have all 4, this is much more doable.
First man up will be Draza, but Dashy deals with him.
Hook in position. 5 seconds to go.
Dash is just working that window. And that's going to be Optic 3-0. So there you go. Once again, I already went over that map, so I already kind of knew like some small details. I didn't get to go over the close secret spawns. I missed those. But for the most part, pretty straightforward map. Hasi control. Optic just outplayed them. And a lot of it went through Merc. Merc being very good at picking up those OEs and pushing up the block things he should. Good at taking space. So I'll leave it there. I'll go to last map.